Hi everyone, welcome to Maximum Attack Rallying, and I have a question for you today. Are we doing enough to communicate the benefits of rallying and to even make people know that rallying exists? So there's a little bit of background to this, which is largely positive. The team at Motorsport UK are working with the authorities in Scotland to finally bring the WRC back to British shores. So we might be on the brink of an event based in Aberdeen in Scotland, which would be fantastic. So it's been 6 years since the WRC visited the UK, when Wales Rally GB bowed out of the calendar after the Welsh Government removed financial backing for the event. And my, have we missed it. It has been a long time. Obviously, it's great that we've got the ERC coming here with Rally Ceredigion, but the UK should absolutely be on the World Championship calendar. It is it's a staple, isn't it? It's one of the main rallying countries, and it's such an iconic place for the WRC to visit. So they are working on a bid to take the WRC to Scotland, and that would be very, very good indeed. The rally would be based in Aberdeen and would hopefully use similar to stages to the Granite City Rally and others, no doubt. And wouldn't that be nice? Scotland has some absolutely amazing roads. However, there was one thing that made me wonder. Just one thing. So there was recently a council meeting held in Aberdeen, I think it was last week, that was discussing the planned bid, and it just raised a little bit of a problem for me. So there was plenty of enthusiasm from some quarters, and I really hope that Aberdeen Council get behind the event and that they can convince the Scottish Government to provide some funding. That would be fantastic, and it is obviously a massive part of it these days, isn't it? Getting funding for the event is a huge deal. But there was one thing, like I said, that concerned me a little bit. So Richard Brooks, a Conservative councillor, he said that the proposals looked chaotic and not thought through, which is a bit of a shame. He also had a little dig at the SNP and the Scottish Lib Dems about promoting such an event in the face of the rest of the UK looking to reduce its carbon footprint. There's a couple of things in that. Obviously, I suspect he's playing politics a little bit, because it does seem these days, especially, that if one political party says one thing, the opposition party has to say the complete opposite thing, just because that is the way of things, isn't it? Obviously, the environmental thing is tricky, and there is going to be some opposition you would expect in that respect. But the thing that concerned me the most, however, is that Mr. Brooks said something along the lines of introducing motocross to the city. Now, I don't know Richard Brooks, and this is not a criticism of him. He's clearly not a rally fan, but it does point to me to one of the big challenges facing the WRC in the UK and to rallying more generally, is that do people even know who we are and what we're doing? You know, I think it's frightening in a way that someone who could decide the future or influence the future success of this proposal doesn't actually know anything about the sport, and it shows the importance of educating people, doesn't it? You know, we have to tell people what our sport is, show what our sport is, and we can't sing its benefits if someone thinks it's motocross, and that is a very, very low point to be starting from. So you know, he raised the environmental issue specifically, didn't he? Well, is he aware that the WRC uses sustainable fuels, for example? You know, is he aware of the fantastic work going on at rallies up and down the UK every week? You know, all the organising teams and the motor clubs, all the fantastic work they do, trying to protect the forests, trying to maintain the environment that we're using, trying to engage with schools, and all the positive things that are being done. Are we telling that story suitably to convince people like, to convince, you know, people like this councillor and no doubt the others that might disagree? Are we doing enough to convince them that the WRC coming to Scotland would be a good thing? You know, I think it's so important that we show these people, show the doubters, the benefits of our sport, the good things that we do, and tell those positive stories, so that he will come away from this thinking, actually, this looks really, really good. So, you know, I think we need to make sure that where there are doubters, and this doesn't just go for the WRC, of course, it goes for any new event trying to get off the ground. We need to show those doubters the good things. We need to take them events, you know, we need people like him to be in the midst of a crowded town centre for the start of a British Rally Championship round, seeing all the people, seeing all the excited kids, seeing all the families, all the things going on, you know, going out to the stages, seeing the packed spectator areas, because that's got the kind of thing that's going to make him think, wow, you know, this goes beyond money. You know, there's talk that this rally would raised 80 million or something for the local area, and while that's super important, it's also important to see the positive impact on the ground, isn't it? So we really, really need to take these people and show them what the events look like and how successful they are. Regardless of the views of Mr. Brooks or anyone else, I really hope that this bid is successful and that we see this Scottish event on the WRC calendar. Wouldn't it be fantastic if in 2026 we were seeing WRC cars competing in the UK again? Obviously, there is a lot of competition for calendar spots right now. We've got the Irish bid that is still in the works, which would also be great. You know, I'm not going to criticise that because I think that's a good alternative, but obviously as a British person, seeing the WRC back on the British mainland is something that I would like to see. As I said right at the top of this video, we are one of the rallying nations. It's an iconic event, isn't it, to come to the UK, so we absolutely should be back on the calendar. There's clearly still work to be done though, isn't it? Not just in terms of this bid, which obviously they will keep pushing for, but just I think in general, as I was saying, that we have to keep communicating the benefits of the sport, in the face of ever increasing environmental pressure. We have to keep sending that message about all the good things that we're bringing. It can't just be, oh, well, it'll bring X million to an area. That's great, but I think nowadays people want to see more than that, don't they? They want to see evidence that you're trying to be sustainable. They want to see evidence that you're trying to bring community engagement. So I think there's lots and lots of good things going on, events that we've got right now. Like I say, I think Rally Ceredigion is a kind of totem that everyone should be looking at because it's been the most successful event by getting into the ERC. But there are just so many more opportunities, aren't there? There are always things we can be doing, whether it's using social media to communicate the benefits and communicate with people and raise awareness, whether it's sustainability initiatives, whether it's engaging with local schools and having those kind of educational initiatives to try and encourage people into motorsport and let them see the benefits and see them doing engineering and maths subjects and using rallying as a conduit for that. There are so many things that we can do and that we are doing, but it just shows, doesn't it, the importance of continuing to share those messages. So I'm going to leave it there. Do let me know what you think below, how you feel about this Scottish bid and whether you would like to see that come off and whether you'd like to see Aberdeen as a basis for a WRC round. And I think the last thing I have to say is, can someone please tell Richard Brooks what the WRC is and why it's not motocross? Thanks for watching.